content makes the internet go around. Cannot stress this enough, guys. I mean, content is king on the internet. And like I said before, even if you don't know how to create content, it's not that difficult. There's so much information out there. Even if you go into a niche that you know just is unfamiliar to you, you can find content related to that niche. But what I recommend is finding something that you're passionate about first. That way you really get the feel of how the internet marketing works, and then you can really take off from there. Because once you're passionate about something, you learn how to really open up and write about it or create videos about it. It just, when you go into that next niche that you're not so familiar with, you'll have that experience under your belt, and it'll make things a lot easier. By producing a neat website with good content in your internet marketing business, you provide your customers with true value. Again, value is everything. You want to create content for your customers, for your readers, your website readers, and you want to provide them with value. I don't remember what his name was, but I heard an internet marketer say that it's kind of like the flea market approach. When you go to a flea market, and sometimes you'll find yourself buying things that just don't make any sense, but it's such a good deal that you just feel like you cannot, you just can't pass it up. Well, that's how you want your readers to be when they come to your website. You want to give them so much good information that they've got no choice to come back to your website, because they don't have to bounce around to 10 or 20 different websites just to find what they're looking for. Most people, when they get to a website, they want to get the information at one place and not have to go to a zillion different places to get what they're looking for. And you will find, if you find any of my websites on the internet, that's exactly how I've got all of them are going to be set up. Some of them are, they're in the development stage, and it takes time, but don't get in a rush. Take your time with each post, with each page, and create good content and have your customers coming back for more. You can express your business, tell your story to the world, build lifelong relationships with them. That's another thing that's so great about internet marketing is, you build relationships with other people, with other readers. They get to know you and you get to know them. They'll make comments on your blog or whatever, and it's just really, it's an unbelievable thing. Now, if you want to be in internet marketing for the long haul, then you need to produce quality content to keep them coming back for more. It's like I said, I'm really driving this home, but it's all about the content. And a lot of marketers will teach you out there to go out and get, to buy a bunch of articles, which there's nothing wrong with that. Like they call them PLR articles, or private label right articles that are already written. You can take them, but one thing I will not do is I will not just grab an article and throw it on my blog because somebody else has written it. If I'm going to take a PLR article and I'm going to put it on my blog, then I'm going to actually put my own personality into that article. I will read the entire article, and sometimes I'll even rewrite the entire thing. But most of the times, I'll write about half of it, rewrite about half of it, just because I want my own personality, in that article. You need to take your content and optimize it for your website as well as for search engines, otherwise known as search engine optimization. Again, we talked about that earlier. But optimizing your content, some people will tell you that you have to have the exact keyword density in your website, and some people say you don't. My thought on it is I'm just going to be natural with everything that I do, and the rest will work itself out. If you just write naturally, you want to concentrate on writing exactly how you would speak it to someone else. If you're having a conversation with your dad or your mom or your brother or sister or what have you, and you're telling them a story about something that happened to you, that's all article writing is. In internet marketing, you're telling a story to somebody else through an article. It's really that easy. And if you write like that, then people will see the true value in you. They'll be able to tell that it is truly coming from you, and it's not an automated system just spitting out articles based on whatever. And again, this allows you to optimize your content so it can be found through the web. Again, it's search engine optimization. This is a vital factor in internet marketing because one of the ways you get potential customers to your website.